Hello and welcome to Lunch Break lesson number 7, where today I'm going to talk a little bit about company management structure. Let's start with the traditional hierarchical structure that many of you know so well. It usually starts with a chairperson or a board member. Reporting to him would be a group of directors, for example the marketing director or the human resources director. Reporting to them are a layer of sales managers, accounts department managers, customer services managers. These are people who take care of individual departments in the company. And of course, down at the bottom, reporting to them, we have the staff, the personnel, or the workers. Now, the chairperson or the board member is usually what we term a non-executive director. Now, this means that they're not part of the executive team. They do not become involved in the day-to-day running of the company. Next we have the executive directors. Now they are involved in the day-to-day running of the company. Now this layer also includes the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, who is often the chairman of the board as well. He is the only board member who does work in the organisation. And next we have a tier of middle management. These are people who usually manage a department, a part or a section of the company. For example, the sales department may be run by the sales manager, accounts department manager, customer service manager, and so on. As you see in these hierarchical organisations, employees are positioned at levels each one above the other, and at each stage in the chain, each person has a number of staff reporting directly under them, except the bottom layer. And communication typically flows from the top of the organisation to the bottom. Hierarchical organisations are considered mechanical. They have narrow spans of control. They are highly centralised and they have very rigid departmentalisation. The chain of command is always clear. Now this type of structure exists, for example, in the military or very large organisations. Now there may be more layers of management than I have here. It depends on the size of the organisation. Now let's look at a flatter organisational structure. In flatter organisations, there is still a little hierarchical structure, but less so. More importantly, with a flatter organisation, the flow of communication changes. See, unlike the traditional hierarchy with the typical top-down communication, a flatter structure opens up lines of communication between people at different levels. Now, for larger organisations, this is the most practical approach to managing a company. This is the model that most large and most mid-size organisations around the world would be using today. And finally, let's look at the flat organisational structure. Flat organisations are exactly that, flat, meaning there are usually no job titles, no seniority, no managers, no executives. Everyone is seen as equal, and communication flows around the group smoothly. It's important to note that this structure is not practical for larger organisations. Smaller companies are able to operate in this environment successfully because there are less people to communicate with. But when you get to organisations with thousands of employees, this can be very challenging. Flat structures are also referred to as organic. They have wide spans of control, they are decentralised, and they have very loose departmentalisation. One of these people could work in 2 or 3 different departmental areas of the business. The chain of command is often difficult to work out. How well did you listen? Now on the next 10 slides, as usual, there are 10 questions for you to do. Submit your answers as part of your homework on your lesson record sheet when I send you the link before the lesson. And of course, if you're not a student of Business English Guru, you can still check your answers at the end of the next video. Let's go. A structure where employees are positioned at levels above each other is honourable, hierarchical, horrible, or monarchy. A member of the board of directors is a non-executive director, meaning the board member doesn't work in the company, the board member owns the company, the board member doesn't like executives, the board member works in the company daily. Hierarchical organisations are considered mechanistic, machines, mechanical, mercenary. The CEO of a company is a member of the board, thus doesn't work in the company, or is the only member of the board who works in the company. Flatter organisational structure is practical for most large organisations, medium-sized organisations, both of these, neither of these. Question 6. In a flatter organisational structure, information flows bottom up as well as top down as well as sideways, sideways and bottom up, or in all directions. Question 7. In a flatter organisational structure, there is no hierarchy at all. There is still some hierarchy. Hierarchy is banned. Hierarchy only exists at bottom levels. Question 8. In a flat organisational structure, there are no levels, there are no managers, there are no job titles, or all of the above are true. Question 9. Which type of structure is best for a business involving 8 employees? Why do you think this? Hierarchical, flatter org structure, flat org structure. Now, why do you think this? I would like you to write in a sentence or two your thoughts. Question 10. In a flat org structure, it's easier to work out the chain of command. True or false? Check your answers at the end of the next lunch break lesson if you don't want to do it in class. But if you do, please discuss these answers with me if you don't understand them. Bye for now.